Hey everybody, happy July 4th. Welcome back. It's business, and nothing's more patriotic than covering a German ship on July 4th, but whatever. I'll explain why I've been absent a little bit here in a moment. Just showing off the Hindenburg, and this is a skin by Tans, as usual, link in the description down below. I run double rudder shift on this. I run the main battery mod 3, so faster reload but at the expense of turret traverse, and I run improved AA range with AA gun mod 2. There are only a few weaknesses for this ship, and with the captain skills and the modules you can't really cover too much in that respect. So one of them is concealment, and I run concealment expert on this along with AFT and manual AA. I run Superintendent, Adrenaline Rush, the Double Fighter, and also Preventive Maintenance. The reason why I do this is because you can't do shit about the speed. The speed is a weakness on this. You can't really do much about the concealment because it's even fully concealed, it's not that much of an improvement. So might as well spec it out for the other areas which it actually is pretty damn strong in. And I figured that would make up for some of the shortcomings. And we'll get to some of that in a moment again towards the end, but as far as the guns are concerned, 8.8 second reload with this modification, along with 25.9 second turret traverse, 13% chance of fire, a really low maximum HE shell damage of 2500, but solid 5900 on the AP, 17.8 kilometer range without adding any additional modifiers as far as modules are concerned, and really solid 925 meters a second on both the AP and the HE shells for the shell velocity. So what you're seeing here is our team not really being in the best spot here, including myself, honestly, when the cyclone sets. So I came over here to see if myself and the gearing could make something happen, and sure enough, things started happening. And this is one of the best ships, if not, I would say, the best ship in the game to make stuff happen. You know, it's just, you have threats all over the place. The guns are dangerous to everything, and it's got the utility of hydro. You have the torpedoes, a double rack on both sides reaching out to 6 kilometers, and with this reload and the solid work that you could put in with the AP against any given target. I mean, I've done nearly 9,000 damage to Shimakaze with the AP, and I managed to do, what was it? I did an 18,000 damage salvo to a Bismarck with the AP, so, you know, it can do work with the AP, and then with the HE, it's a bit, I would say it's now certainly a lot more consistent with the buff that they gave the German cruisers with 1/4 shell pen, well, 1/4 of the gun caliber shell pen. That's fantastic. That helps out a huge amount because it makes the HE shell damage much more consistent, because it's extremely low as it is. Now, I don't know how the hell this guy managed to survive as long as he did, but obviously I have kicked the hornet's nest here, and this is the strength of this ship. So we got the Benson. I'm angling my ship so I can get my rear turrets on that cruiser while I get my port torps on the Baltimore, while I have my guns turned around to the Edinburgh that's in smoke, and nuke him as well. And that, goddammit, is how you bring a team back. Now it's a 5v5. Now, I gotta say, I was pretty proud of how this team responded to this. They definitely took the bull by the horns and decided to press in and make this happen, especially this guy in the Montana. What a hell of a salvo there against the enemy Yamato there. That definitely racked up a nice amount of damage for him, but I only managed just over 6 figures, so, you know, 103,500 damage, but 2,200 base XP, because that was all highly effective damage, and it was so sudden too. That was great. But sometimes, though, you are a little fish in a very big pond, and this is the type of match that you almost never see somebody get high caliber in either, you know. But when it comes down to this, you still have really good HE shells, and if I'm not mistaken, this was actually none of this footage that you'll see in this review are from games after the HE buff. And the HE buff for this was simply the shells having better shell penetration. So instead of 1/6 the caliber, they would have 1/4 the caliber, or 1/4 the penetration of the gun caliber that you are firing from. So that's actually a pretty damn significant change, because essentially you're getting IFHE for free, and that's something that I've found to make the HE shells much more consistent. And you know, even before this change, I was able to do 7,000 damage salvos against enemy destroyers. Not the Kaprosk, of course, but AP does the trick against that. But HE also does work pretty damn well against the cab. And the difference now is that it's really impressive to see against an enemy battleship that's, you know, lost 20-30,000 health. You're still dropping 8-9,000 damage salvos, or you have that potential, but it's much more effective, much more consistent against enemy destroyers, and again the Russian ones especially, and enemy cruisers. You can definitely deal a lot of damage now, much more consistently against bow forward targets with the HE. So tier 8, 9, 10 battleships, Hindenburg time, you know. So I did hope that the Azuma would turn in there, because I wanted to get his turrets turning and trade 1,000 of my health for 38,000 of his, while clearing out the the North Carolina there for posterity. So that was my highest damage match with the Hindenburg, and I mean, it mostly came at the end, but did pretty well, all things considered. I mean, certainly wish that the battleships were more involved, but you can say that about any class. But I did set 2 more fires there at the end with the secondary, so I actually had 5 fires for about 54,000 damage there, which is pretty damn awesome. And you know, the HE is definitely, in my opinion, it was something that was never really a problem to begin with, because you have shell volume to back up the lower fire chance. And you know, I think that really made up for a lot of the shortcomings when it came to the HE. But again, when you're talking about low maximum damage of 2,500, your overall damage per salvo with HE is going to be a lot lower than, say, the Japanese cruisers or the other nations as well. So as far as the AA is concerned, you have a great backup here at 7.2 kilometers with 171 DPS from these 7 double mounts of the 55mm, but your dual purpose 105mm only reach out to 6.5 kilometer. But again, with manual AA, that's doubled, and obviously from there, if you're running defensive fire, that's tripled on top of that, and you can have a massive amount of DPS and just shred planes. You know, I think even without defensive fire, if you're running the absolutely incredible hydroacoustic that this has, I'd feel pretty comfortable in most engagements. Just kind of depends who you're playing against, of course, but there's only so much you can do. You know, if a carrier wants you dead, you're gonna take some damage. That's for sure. There's no way around that now. So, and actually, there never really was. But so this turned out to be a pretty damn interesting match. I'm only at 18,000 damage, secured a couple kills, but again, the idea is that we're sitting on their cap, trying to draw them back, and the idea is that in order for us to be able to win this, we need to fight this as much on our terms as possible, and the only way to do that is to draw them back and hopefully get something going here. So now let's see, we've got Matt Q in the Minotaur right next to me, and he I didn't really check my blind spot too well there, so that could have been disastrous, but we've got the enemy carrier coming in. My Kurfürst that's off to the left, he's certainly a target, and as soon as that smoke gets cleared up, which should be pretty soon here, all hell's gonna break loose for that poor guy. But I'm jumping back into the smoke, and now we get hydroed by the enemy Kurfürst, and yeah, my torps, I often use my torps not necessarily to hit, like I don't expect torps to hit. It's more of the fact that I want them to go a particular direction. We just had a ram there. So our guy saved the cap by our cap by ramming the enemy destroyer that was there, which is pretty damn amazing, so props to him. But now I'm in a do or die situation. I'm totally expecting to get railed here because there are just so many damn ships over here that can really fuck my day up, and take a solid hit there from the curve first. And I wanted to wait a little bit longer here against the curve first for the second set of torps, and sure enough, that ends up paying off. And you got to remember too, adrenaline rush does affect your torpedo reload, so these have a pretty damn fast reload as it is. You know, yay for German torps, but at the same time they do have a rather shitty range at 6 kilometers, but it just makes it all the more dangerous in situations like this where you're knife fighting. Now I'm charging forward right here against the, oh, well, he's dead, never mind, the enemy North Carolina that got taken out, and we're going to throw torps down, but I didn't pay attention to off to the right here. We've got a bunch more torps coming in, and I believe those are from Mac Q himself. Got the aircraft carrier dropping torps on me. I have AP loaded, and if you'll notice here, I'm going to do nothing. And I lost another big chunk of health, but check this out. Got all of my guns lined up. They all shatter. And that's the thing with this ship. The shells, they don't do all that well against the belt armor of ships like the Montana, the Iowa. But you aim up a little higher and you shoot at an enemy ship, like say it's a German ship, you know, like treat every single battleship like it's a German ship, where you aim not at the waterline but up above it, you're going to do a shitload more damage. And it's really consistent with, you know, dumping out the 5, 6, 8, 10, 12,000 damage salvos. I mean, I've been incredibly surprised by some of the results from just my front turrets or my rear turrets, and it's pretty damn impressive. You know, even at angles, you can really pull off some serious hurt on some of these guys. Now, of course, that's a terrible example right there, but I don't know at this point how I'm still alive, but I'm glad that I am. I lost one of my starboard torp launchers there, so that kind of sucked. And I'm just expecting to die here at any moment, and I switched over to HE, of course, to try to get something done here before I die, and hopefully he runs into one of my torps or more. And meanwhile, I'm still getting harassed by the enemy carrier and trying to shoot down those planes as much as possible to help out the team, and obviously my division mate who's running the carrier in the midway. So now we got more planes coming in. This guy's still not dead, but somehow neither am I. And again, trying to target the aircraft there, so you see those planes start going down. And of course, this like half the stuff that I'm doing actually doesn't show up in the replay, but whatever, kind of annoying. And so I got my port side torps off, and looks like we finally get this guy off my ass. Thankfully, he didn't fire just before he died. I know he must have been like super close to being able to pull that off, but managed to get the Hakuryu spotted. Hakuryu, sorry. And yep, I thought that was going to be pretty much it for us in this match as far as being able to get him spotted again. But we do have an enemy Des Moines on our base, and we've got Mac U going in there after him, which he gets him right there. And then we start heading over to the last known position of the carrier, and just trying to make this AA work as best as I can. And again, the hard part about this ship, as far as the AA is concerned, is your dual purpose is not your longest range, and that really hurts in some situations. But look at these planes, they're just dropping like flies. And we managed to farm some more damage here against the carrier, and I do kind of wish I still had my defensive fire up, but managed to get some more plane kills there as the carrier gets taken out. So that turned out to be a pretty damn good game, 180,000 damage. If I'm not mistaken, that actually wasn't my first win of the day, but ended up doing a ridiculous 3,160 base XP with 47 planes shot down and 5 kills, and our division carried that out of defeat there. And I mean, it was a good push by the other team. as well as our teammates to get in on their cap. The right players did the right things at the right time to make that all happen. So it wasn't just our division, it was everybody involved. Because the fact of the matter is, you can't do things in a team-based game by yourself. It doesn't work that way. And so it may seem like you did a lot of work, but it's probably because somebody else made something happen. It's just a domino effect. So the only reason why somebody's showing up broadside is not because of you, but because of somebody else making them turn broadside, that sort of thing. But it's all about being able to capitalize and take advantage of those situations. So very, very important. And here I am just taking hits right on the nose, but managed to get a couple citadels there. You know, that's actually, again, I shot Mac U, whoops. But again, sometimes the slow speed of the Hindenburg does get it into trouble. That's definitely one of those. That's some health that I could have avoided losing, because if I was just a few knots faster, 4 or 5 knots faster, yeah, maybe I'd be able to get a little closer, so I wouldn't have had to take a few extra salvos and that sort of thing. But trying to finish off that North Carolina, because he obviously overextended, and now we've got this Minotaur as well, just a moment later, who I'm not sure if he's expecting his smoke to come around or he's just accepting the inevitability of his death. But there's smoke all over the place for me to bounce between, jumping into a Kutuzov smoke now, and just watching this Des Moines here, trying to see if I can finish him off, because, well, I didn't expect the Citadel, but managed to get him. But yeah, now it's time to push over towards where C is, because we are certainly rather exposed on the other half of the map. We don't have anybody over there, in fact. So regardless of whatever happens to me, we need to make something happen here. You'll notice I held off on defensive fire here. I didn't know what to expect on the drops. I honestly expected that Edinburgh to be dead. So I decided to hold off on it, and I really, no, one of those things where maybe I could have helped him out, maybe helped everybody else out by having some more planes shot down, but I probably should have done that. So now that I watch that again, I'm kind of like, whoops. But enemy Iowa here, moving in, just trying to get some more damage on him while I can and while I'm concealed. It's kind of a big deal, of course. If you can use smoke, by all means do it, but at the same time, you gotta be so damn careful. Torps are just, they seem to home right into those damn smoke screens nowadays, so you just gotta be super careful. So I'm keeping myself nice and close to this island here, trying to make sure that I have one side protected while I can engage another target on the other side, throw Torps down against that Iowa, because I don't know what to expect there. I don't know if he's going to be moving this way or that. And meanwhile, I'm still trying to finish off this damn Ibuki, who somehow is still alive, and I just can't seem to finish him. So we get, nope, yep, there it is. I forgot whether or not I got that kill. So we're at about 100 and something thousand damage, and we get a torp hit right there against the Iowa, so that's good news. But this is a solid match so far, but we're still in great danger of losing this, and we could certainly have that happen at any moment. We are down 6-5 on the ship front, but trying to finish off this Iowa here, which we get right there. Now we got to deal with the North Carolina. I do have Kutuzov off to my right, and we are just pressing in right against this guy. He's already lost a good amount of health from what we last saw him at, and it's time to see if we can get the Torps into the mix and press in against him here, open up our AP shells against his side, and aiming into the superstructure there, again, yields solid results. I'll take 4,000 damage at this angle in the cruiser against any ship. That's always a good thing, because that means you can definitely open up for even more when you get into the situation where they've pulled open their broadside. So managed to get a crack in there with a secure kill with the Torps, and now we're pressing in here into C. We got an enemy, Chapiev, who has somehow eluded death. He's been backing up this entire match. Like, I'm not even joking. He was literally in the middle of the map, just north of B, going backwards, and somehow has managed to survive. and I don't know what the odds of that happening are, but that guy needs to die, and needs to die quickly. I've got another North Carolina right up there, so that's a problem. This may be a tanky ship, but trust me when I say you can still do a massive amount of damage to, and look at that, 10,000 damage. You could still do a massive amount of damage to a ship like the Hindenburg if you get the dispersion right on the nose. And I've done, I think it was 19, 20, 21,000 damage through the front, without a citadel, of course, against the Hindenburg and the Montana. Against the side, you know, at closer ranges, man, you're just not going to do much of anything as far as citadel damage is concerned. You have to just do sheer volume damage, and that's where like a Kurfürst or a Montana does exceptionally well against a Hindenburg in closer ranges, because you're looking at a situation where the turtleback armor scheme protects it at close range, but you can still hit these damn ships for upwards of, you know, 20, 30, 35, 40,000 damage if you get the hits right. And I've done, I think it was 37,000 damage with a Kurfürst against a Hindenburg once on, I can't remember, I think it was Shatter. And that surprised the ever-living shit out of me. I know it did him as well, but at range, like say you've got a broadside Hindenburg at that range where that carrier was, and you know he's broadside, you've got your AP shells coming in, you were so much more likely to citadel him. And the armor on this is incredibly susceptible to citadels at range, because it just doesn't have the protection like it does at close range. So just choose your engagements wisely, and chances are you'll be better off for it. Now, as you can see, we did manage to pull off a pretty substantial win here, and we've got all 4 caps, just trying to avoid getting torped to shit at the very last moment here, and get another plane killer too. So yep, there we go. Feel pretty good about that. And this turned out to be an even better match. So remember, the previous match, 3160 base XP or whatever, 7 kills, yeah, 3270 base XP, 7 kills, 23 planes shot down. Yeah, I cannot sing the praises of this ship enough. You know, it's just a pretty different playstyle, because I think it really favors somebody who's much more aggressive. And look at that Captain XP. Damn, if I had, like, you know, for the win or whatever for more Captain XP, holy shit, that would have been crazy. And this particular match was my most recent game, just a few days ago, and yeah, I gotta record that one for shits and giggles. But yes, the armor is mediocre at long range, especially if you're running away. Your back half is Citadel City for the tier 10, well, any battleship that's going to face you. Your AA could be better if it were the dual purpose at the max range, but you know, it's still really good, and I love having this with a AA build. The speed is shit. I don't think there's any way of getting around that. And you know, running double rudder shift, you're still way behind something like a Zhao, or even the Des Moines for that matter, but it is still a damn good ship. The guns are amazing, and I don't think there's anything else I'd rather play between this, the Kurfürst, and the Montana especially. They're just 3 phenomenal ships, and all the tier 10 cruisers are awesome, but this has got to be one of my favorite, if not the favorite ship for me in the game. But hope you enjoyed the new intro, hope you enjoy this little outro. Thank you for watching today. I look forward to your comments, and hopefully I can get back into the swing of things as far as new videos are concerned. But thank you for watching today, guys. Happy July 4th, and I'll see you next time. Take care.